I know the law, Phil. I know the law too well.
Then you ought to know that there ain't no way to beat the law. White folks live by it and niggas die by it.
Got saying a dead nigga did some shit is telling. I don't look at that like telling. If I go on the move with my man and my man don't make it, boy, everything in his car, everything we just did, he did it.
You still told on a dead nigga.
It's Focus Connect back in the building. And I'm really tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing the conversation about what's snitching, what's telling, and all of the above. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because the streets we know today are not the same streets that these people are talking about. Back in the day, when you spoke about not snitching, it was most likely dealing with drugs. It was most likely dealing with people that you knew, that you grew up with, and these people were pretty much like your brothers. In today's time, these young guys don't really know each other. These young guys ain't hanging out on the block. They ain't hanging out on the streets like that. Most of their beef starting on the internet. So it ain't no loyalty amongst their crews. Ain't no loyalty amongst their group. Most of these people only hanging behind each other based on somebody got some money, somebody got some popularity. They not on the street as brothers hustling and getting it out the mud like what was going on back in the day. The crimes that these guys are committing are shooting thousands of shots. If you got 4 people in the car nowadays, you got 400 or 500 shots in the car amongst those people. These guys are shooting guns that they can't even hold steady because they got the switch on the gun. So once they shoot, they can't even hold the gun with any control. So 9 times out of 10, they gonna miss their target. They gonna hit granny. They gonna hit an innocent bystander. They gonna hit one of the babies that's outside playing. And we upholding the law saying that they shouldn't be snitched on because they ain't hustling no more. They crimes is doing something against you, robbing, stealing, jacking. These are the high crimes now. The high crimes now are not drug selling. These are users. So we gotta update this conversation. And we already know the streets dead. We already know that it ain't no consequences for snitching because these people are not embedded within the hood. See, you used to would have to come back to the hood. A lot of these situations ain't even those type of scenarios. When I look at this conversation, it just gets to the point that this really an immature conversation to have. The fact that we're not looking at our neighborhoods as communities, we looking at everything as the streets. Why are we not encouraging people to listen to their mom? Why are we not encouraging kids to get out of the street mentality? Why are we not encouraging these kids to go to school on these podcasts? Why are we trying to debate what would be classified as snitching or telling? I'm not understanding this because the streets were never a place to be trusted. Do y'all realize how many people got killed that were innocent in these streets? Do you know how many people lost their life because a crime was committed and people had a meeting and agreed that this person that was a part of the crime might snitch and they knocked the person out that possibly wasn't even gonna snitch? So how are we upholding loyalty in the streets when the streets ain't meant to be loyal? Why aren't we telling these kids to denounce the streets? And everybody that's having these conversations are people that's not even living in the streets, that's not even hanging on these blocks, that'll pass through, take a couple of pictures and keep it moving. 21 Savage ain't hanging out on no blocks. Big Bank ain't hanging out on no blocks. These niggas staying out of the way, as they should. But to have the conversation and to make these young guys that's coming up feel as if not telling is keeping it real. And one thing 21 Savage did say that I agree with, we are raised to not like a tattletale. I remember I got a whooping back in the day because somebody called the police while all the adults were gone. And the police came, and as a kid, I'm probably 4, 5 years old. I'm scared because the police came. I'm looking at the officer as a person of authority. I'm not looking at the officer as nobody to hide from. And I told the police who called 911. And I got a whooping that I'll never forget from that situation. And from that day on, you didn't have to worry about me telling nothing. But when I look at what's going on now, I feel like if a person come through the hood, shoot up all these people's houses, that's working people, trying to get one guy and they hit all these innocent bystanders, I don't think telling on them should be classified as snitching. Because if we holding up to the street rules and we upholding what should go on in the community, he should be taken out by people on the streets. That shouldn't even make it to the police getting them in a courtroom. That person should never be able to sit his ass on the back of a police car seat, because the hood should take care of that. Back in the day, the communities were safe. I used to go to Chicago in the summer. You wouldn't even see nobody outside in the day because they knew. I don't know if it's because they knew the older people were outside. It was a different level of respect that I saw from the gang members. They were outside all night. They are asleep through the day while what they call as civilians now was out and moving around. And I saw a lot of gang members that helped the older ladies take their groceries in the house, help them take their trash out, help them manicure their lawns. And right now, only thing we see these young brothers doing is destroying and tearing down the community. They not even hustling. Their crimes are crimes committed against people that are working in the neighborhood. As far as burglarizing these people's homes, stealing people's cars, robbing, hanging out at the stores, robbing the stores, begging in front of the stores. You got young people standing outside begging in front of stores now. And when we were young, we would have been embarrassed to be asking and begging for something. That was the crackheads begging and alcoholics begging. Now you got young guys in their early 20s and teens in front of the store begging. A lot of things that's going on now need to be snitched on. Get these people out of the way from making the communities dangerous that our kids can't play outside. So I think at this point, people 30 and up sound real childish and ignorant to be having a discussion about what's snitching and what's telling when we living in a whole different dynamic at this point in time in life. I'm out.